we're going to use the split trees, which is JND418 and JND419, the Deer Scenes 2023, to actually make this card and make this sort of flipbook card that you were looking at. So we're going to start by using the back panel. So what I've done here is taken a piece of card that's been cut to just short on 5 inches or 12.5 centimeters if you're metric, and we're going to add a background into it. So I'm using the brand new Craft Artist Fusion range of Mica Magic, and I'm just using a mix of colours here. So I'm using the brass or bronze, I'm using the black, just to give us a little bit of definition, and a little bit of the gold, and a little bit of this lychee colour here. So we're just working all of those colours over to give us a really nice sort of almost ethereal looking background with all those different colours within there. So that is our background panel. And to make together the book, we're going to use all of the circles. So I'm just going to grab those ones. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of white card and I've cut this to just short on 5 inches, and I've cut concentric circles into each one so that each piece has a circle that's a little bit smaller than its predecessor. So we have there 5 layers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put a different element behind each one of these. So we have our background, and we also have our book made of the diorama. And all I've done is stick together 2 of the diorama card blanks back to back. Very, very simple. So we're going to start by gluing in our back panel. And this is going flat onto the back, and this is, as I said, cutting craft card, and we've just decorated this with a little bit of the Mica Magic. So nice and simple, and we put that one in. So now we want to start with our first background piece. And for our first background piece, we're going to use the smallest circle from the set. It's obviously going to go onto there, and we can see through. So here we're going to use a section of the split trees. So you're going to take, again, a piece of card that's been cut to just short on 5 inches, and our split tree die set. And what we want here is a full set. So we're going to take both dies and put both dies together, lining them up in that central section. So we're just lining that center a little bit there up, or the side up there. We're simply going to tape that down, and we'll run that through and cut it. And I'm going to cut this so that you can actually see how this comes out, as we do need to remove the central panel. So I'm just bringing in my Kaleido, and I'm going to run that through and cut that. So once we've got this cut, and we remove our die, you can see here all of the bits will automatically fall out. I'm not going to prick every little piece out of this, but you can see we leave this little chunk here where they match. So you can take a knife or a pair of scissors and just slide that in and finish off the line between each piece. And that will then give us our beautiful continual panel, which we want for our first section at the back. Now, what I've done here is, here's a piece I've already got cut, and I've already pruned all the pieces out. And I'm simply again going to take the Mica Magic and, using the same colours, pick out that detail. So I'm going to start with a little bit of black, and again run that along the trees. Really quite simple. You can use a dauber for this. I find my finger is the most intuitive, if that makes sense. because I can put it exactly where I need to. So again, using then some of the other colours, we're just putting a little bit of each of those on, and you'll see there we've got those beautiful little shades and highlights coming through. So we then want to take our section of circle and just keep making sure that they are in the right area. And for this, you don't want to be using spray glue. So we want to just take a little bit of glue around the aperture and then a little bit of glue along the outside of each piece. If I move this white card away, you'll see that a lot better. And we simply marry those two together, which gives us the beautiful trees showing through the aperture. So there is our first layer. I'm then going to take, and I've cut my next circle, and this time I'm going to just simply cut one of the split tree dies. So again, we take a piece of card that's been cut to size, and we decide which piece we want. And I'm going to use the largest piece for the next one. So we simply take that into the corner on the correct side where the straight line is. And again, we run that through our machine to cut that. So I'm just running that through off camera because it's a little bit quicker. And you can see here, we have our piece cut, we take our pieces out, and these will all fall out, but this time it will leave a big panel here. So we simply take our scissors and we run them up to there to release our split trees. Now I've got a piece that I've already done, and I've already mica magicked onto there. So again, same idea, but this time obviously we're only going to use half the circle and put glue along 3 pieces. And we're going to marry our piece up, sticking that down. So you can see now how that lines up. If you want to, you can move it along slightly. So I'm just going to move this along a little bit so that they're not exactly in the same place when we put that one together, and trim off the excess here. A little bit of mica magic there, so I'll just use an eraser to take that off. The glue eraser will remove the mica magic, which is why it's far superior to things like gilding wax and things like that. But you can see now how they're starting to build up. But obviously what we do want to do is we want to show a little bit of difference in here. So I'm going to use, from the Deer Scenes die, we have our 2 hill lines. So I'm going to take one of our hill lines and a scrap of card, again that's been cut to 5 or just short on 5 inches. Just simply tape that down and run that through and cut that. So again, I'm just going to cut this panel very quickly again off there, because I want to show you how to release this out from the card. So we take our die off, it will have cut in, which of course means that we can slide little pieces in there if we want to, or we simply cut it out of the card. Simply like that. Nice and easy. And what I'm going to do is, again, just apply a little bit of glue around 3 sides of that. And I'm going to add that onto the front, so that I then have a set of hills there. You can see there how it starts to work separately. I would then take the waist piece and do exactly the same. So these are designed to be used as the top and the bottom. And we're going to put that on to the front of our second layer. So we are building up our little scene. We're then going to take our third layer of this, and this is where we're going to add in our deers. So we're going to take our large deer die from our Deer Scenes 2023. This is a lot larger deer than we've done previously. And again, here is one I've already cut. And I've added a little bit of mica magic onto. So once again, make sure that that fits within the circles, the concentric circles. And again, I'm going to take a little bit of glue and just add that along that bottom edge, that bottom seam. Make sure they fit and they're right. So see, that one didn't, so I need to just keep rotating it around till it fits. And then once I'm happy, I'm going to stick my deer on. And you can see there how the deer then are in front of those sets of trees. If I bring a piece of that in, you can see how that starts to build up. So you could foam tape this and have the different layers showing, but I feel it really works in the book format. And we then take our final circle. So again, just keep moving it round to make sure that it fits and is in the right place. Yeah, nice and simple and easy. And we're going to take the final piece of split trees, which has been cut from using just the other die. And this time I'm going to cut it off at the point where the deer are, or where the trees are, should I say. And again, a little bit of glue just around these three edges. So hopefully you can see there through those three edges. And again, check and make sure that your circles are right. And we're just going to attach that on. So this final layer, we simply have the edge of the trees showing, which means the edge of the trees come then over the deer like that. And again, what we can do is to add a final piece in. So I've got another piece here, which we can add into there. So again, just cut using the lines that come within the deer scene set. And we're just going to glue that one on again to give a hill. And if you notice with the hills, what I'm doing is not adding mica magic, so I've got a difference in colour going through. So we now have our 5 layers. So I'm going to bring back in my little book that we made, really simple. And all I'm going to do, so I've got 4 panels, is to add a little bit of power tape. If you don't have power tape, use a red line tape, but use a decent one. I feel like I say that all the time, but it is very important. Please don't use your finger lift tape or your tape runners or anything like that. It will literally just fall apart. You need to have something very strong here. You could use a wet glue, but again, it takes a while for that to go off. Wet glue will always give you, apart from power tape, the strongest bond going. So I'm adding 1 piece of tape on each of these front panels, just through like that. So we'll take that off, and we're simply going to reveal these and put a panel in zigzag order into place. So make sure you put it into the right place. And there we've got our first piece. I'm then going to take my second one off and take the next piece from the back, and we're going to put that into place. So again, just make sure that it's going into the right place. and fits in, and you can see there how that fits over. We then take our third, which has our deers on it, and we put that again into place against this back panel. Make sure it's taped down. You can see there how each panel is starting to go through. And this creates you, as we showed you at the beginning, almost like a flick book. We then take our final piece and we put that into place. So beautifully neat on the front. And again, if you wanted to, you could wrap a whole book wrap around that, but you can see there we have our beautiful flip of all of the different scenes, so that when it's actually put together and it's standing, it gives you a beautiful tunnel card look. A very simple, if you follow the instructions, card to make, which just gives you almost a little story scene, and of course the back of each one